Good afternoon. I am Arvise Washington, Deputy Director for the Department of Navy's Office of Small Business Programs. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to our webinar series where we've been hosting a series of webinars on various topics throughout the summer. You can view previously recorded events on our website under Outreach and Past Events, or visit us on our YouTube channel. I would like to direct you to our website at www.secnav.navy.mil/small-business, where you can find a wealth of information, including our Dawn OSBP operations plan, locate your small business professional, and find information on how to do business with the Dawn, including the Command's long-range acquisition forecast. To learn more about upcoming events, you can register for our mailing list on our homepage of our website. And I also encourage you to join us on our social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I'd like to introduce to you today our guest speaker, Mr. Dwight Deneal of DLA. Mr. Deneal is the Director for the DLA's Office of Small Business Programs, headquartered at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. In this capacity, Mr. Deneal provides executive leadership for all aspects of DLA's small business mission, including small business program functions operations for DLA's 6 major subordinate commands. Additionally, Mr. Deneal is responsible for the execution and management of policies, plans, and sub-programs of the congressionally mandated U.S. Department of Defense Procurement Technical Assistance Cooperative Agreement Program, for which DLA is the agent. This establishes a nationwide network of PTACs, Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. So thank you, Dwight, for joining us today, and I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Arvise, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and it's always good to share the stage with my Navy brethren. We appreciate our sisterin. And we appreciate the partnership, and we look forward to doing joint venture events in the future. No problem. So with that, folks, I'm gonna get into my presentation today. And as Arvise shared, I'm Dwight Deneal, the Director for the Office of Small Business Programs at the Defense Logistics Agency. Next slide. So for my office and what we're trying to do from a small business programmatic operations standpoint is we want to ensure that everything that we're focusing on aligns across the board with the Department of Defense priorities, aligning our program to the National Defense Strategy, ensuring that it aligns up to our DLA strategic plan, and then where we get down at the tactical level is our focus areas is to ensure readiness for our industrial base, ensure resiliency for our industrial base, build strong relationships with our industrial base, but also refine our overall small business program to become one of the best in the government small office of small businesses. Next slide. So who is DLA? The Defense Logistics Agency is the nation's combat logistics agency, managing end-to-end global supply chain management for consumables or commodities for our nation's warfighter and our whole of government partners. We averaged roughly between 39 to 40 plus billion in revenue or in contract actions, and roughly 150 billion active contracts are managed on any given day. We do business with roughly 12,000 plus suppliers across the globe, with which I'm proud to say 80% of those 12,000 plus suppliers are classified as a small business. We have roughly about 27,000 workforce members positioned globally. And where we stand in terms of supporting the Department of Defense, we reside under the Undersecretary of Defense for Acquisition and Sustainment. And we support, again, all branches of the military services, our whole of government partners and federal agencies, such as the Department of Homeland Security, FEMA, and the U.S. Coast Guard, and other federal agencies such as the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In terms of how we manage our global supply chain in support of the nation's warfighter, we have major subordinate commands, or what we consider MSCs, that manage the global supply chain in support of our nation's warfighter through 6 major subordinate commands: troop support, land and maritime, aviation, energy, distribution, and disposition services. Next slide. Now here we're going to talk about the DLA supplier profile. As you can see, again, I mentioned we have roughly over 12,000 current suppliers that are doing business with the Defense Logistics Agency. And out of those 12,000, as I stated, 80% of plus of those are classified as a small business. And when you look at that middle column here, and where it says small business, we're averaging roughly 40% of our annual contract spend going towards small businesses. That is roughly equating to roughly over $15 billion annually going to American-owned small businesses. And that's a proud stat that I love to highlight here, because it shows the importance that the small business community plays in supporting our nation's warfighter in our global supply chain. Next slide. So who are we from a DLA office small business framework standpoint? As you can see, I'm the director, and as it was stated in the introduction, I have oversight and management execution for the Procurement Technical Assistance Program. Ms. Sherry Savage, who's on my team, manages that program day to day, and my deputy director, Mr. Chris Hall, does the execution in terms of support for the agency across our major subordinate commands. At every major subordinate command, we have an associate small business director whose role is to manage the small business program for that command in support of the command's initiatives and procurement opportunities. And as you can see, those individuals' names are listed there. Next slide. So now we're going to get into a breakout of what our major subordinate commands are and some of the things that they do and buy. We'll start with DLA Aviation. DLA Aviation provides global air power solutions for our nation's warfighter assets. And so some of the things that they're buying are cables, commodities, bearings to support sustainment of our nation's aviation fleet. In addition to that, they're buying environmental products, maps, and industrial plant equipment. Next slide. Our DLA Contracting Service Office, or what we call DCSO. Our DCSO organization is our one-stop shop, enterprise-wide contracting organization for service support and IT support. And so if you are a service support contractor or IT-focused contractor and you're looking to do business with DLA, this is the organization where you're really going to find the opportunities at. As you can see, they buy enterprise-wide IT, document services. In addition to that, this organization also does the buying and soliciting for our R&D program for DLA, where we have our Small Business Innovation Research Program, in addition to other innovation programs such as OTAs and various broad agency announcements for our R&D needs. Next slide. DLA Disposition Services. DLA Disposition Services provides worldwide disposal management solutions in support of our nation's warfighter. Some of the things they're buying here is hazardous waste disposal, sales of excess DoD property, and contingency operation support. Next slide. DLA Distribution. DLA Distribution provides the full range of distribution services and information globally for DLA. Some of the things they're buying is packaging materials, facility support, and receive, store, and issuance of goods globally. Next slide. DLA Energy. DLA Energy provides a comprehensive energy supply chain solutions and products. DLA Energy is the executive federal agent for all bulk petroleum. And so the bulk of, no pun intended, what they buy is centered in the petroleum business. Next slide. DLA Land and Maritime. DLA Land and Maritime provides global land and maritime supply chain solutions. For the land side, some of the things they're buying are in support of our nation's warfighter are tires, battery, small arm parts, vehicle maintenance kits for our nation's warfighter assets. And then on the maritime side, some of the things they're buying are valves, electrical and electronics, motors, packaging, and gaskets for our nation's maritime assets. Next slide. DLA Troop Support. DLA Troop Support provides food, uniform, protective equipment, and construction and repair parts for our nation's warfighter. This organization, and I like to highlight this, is one of the leading major subordinate commands out of DLA that is supporting the COVID-19 response. DLA Troop Support and DLA, in conjunction with the Department of Defense Joint Acquisition Task Force, has partnered together to help and aid our federal colleagues and partners at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and Federal Emergency Management Agency in terms of helping them with shoring up our nation's strategic national stockpile for personal protective equipment. And as you can see, what Troop Support is buying is not just pharmaceutical personal protective equipment, but in addition to that, they're supplying food services, what we call subsistence and produce in support of our nation's warfighter, the clothing, the uniforms that our troops wear day in and day out, they go out and buy and ensure that our nation's men and women are dressed appropriately to meet mission. Facility maintenance equipment, and then industrial hardware, so screws, nuts, bolts, gaskets, and things of that nature. Next slide. So from a small business engagement standpoint, my main priority that I'm trying to push across our entire DLA enterprise is to ensure that we are surveying small business industrial base readiness to enable defense supplier diversity. And we're doing this in a pronged approach focused around small business focused interaction and outreach, such as events like this, and partnering with the Navy's Office of Small Business Programs to cast a wider net to those that may be interested in doing business with the Defense Logistics Agency. We're also looking at data-driven small business market intelligence, where we're looking at the data behind how we spend our money, the contracts these things are going to, the NAICS codes or the North American Industrial Classification System codes we're buying stuff in, and where there are small business opportunities within the way we buy and the way we do business. We're also then at the tactical level ensuring that we're advocating for small businesses through set-asides, and then at the subcontracting level, maximizing subcontracting opportunities to ensure that small businesses have adequate amounts and abundance of play to win business at DLA. And then we're looking at the innovation. How do we drive innovation in our defense supply chain and manufacturing, and partnering with our R&D organization to cast a wider net for outreach purposes to drive innovation in terms of defense supply chain and manufacturing. And lastly, small business supply chains resiliency and security. Folks, if you haven't been involved with the Department of Defense long, or your existing contractor, one of the most critical things right now for us from an industrial based perspective is ensuring that our suppliers have strong cyber posture and measures in place to ensure that as they are working with us, the information they're dealing with is protected and the government is protected. And so as we roll out the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification Program, it's going to be important that small businesses who are looking to do business with DLA and the U.S. Department of Navy understand how important it is to have supply chain resiliency and strong cyber posture measures in place so that we're all protected in ensuring that our nation's warfighter is safe and ready to meet mission at the minute's notice. Next slide. So how do small businesses strategically position themselves to win at DLA? First thing you want to do is ensure that you contact the appropriate major subordinate command's Office of Small Business Programs for what you're interested in terms of doing business with. Refer back to these few slides here where I gave you an overview of each major subordinate command. And on that slide, there's the contact information at the bottom for each organization where you can get in contact with them and request a meeting. Respond back to our RFIs and source assault notices. And lastly, and the thing I want to highlight on this slide, which is particular to DLA, we have our own DLA Internet Bid Board system, or what we call DIBS. For the majority of our procurements that are under the simplified acquisition threshold, we're going to post them on DIBS, and we do roll that over into betasam.gov. But if you're looking to do business with DLA right out the gate, I encourage you to go to DIBS and get registered and sign up so that you can see what available business opportunities we have out there for the products that you offer. Next slide. So some of the key takeaways here that I want to highlight here is understand the core mission and needs of each major subordinate command or DLA and target your efforts accordingly. Ensure that your website and your capability statements clearly articulate how your organization is going to support us in aiding our nation's warfighter and our whole of government partners with global end-to-end supply chain management needs and solutions. When meeting with our DLA officials, know who you're meeting with and their role, and explain how you can help solve their problems. Folks, threats are evolving. We want to make sure that you're aiding us in filling those gaps. So ensure to listen to our needs when we're talking about what we're doing to support the entire Department of Defense supply chain. Understand what that means for us and bring solutions to the table to help the nation's warfighter and whole government partners. And lastly, use all the resources available to you to navigate for DLA opportunities. As it was mentioned, your procurement technical assistance centers, your PTACs, are great local resources where businesses can go and get free business counseling on how to do business with the Department of Defense and find targeted opportunities that will fit your corporate needs to grow your business in government contracting. Next slide. So folks, lastly here is some key resources for small businesses. What you see here is my office line, in addition to how to get in contact with my direct office. But I also implore you to ensure that you're doing your homework and research and figure out which major subordinate command may be of interest to you and contact them directly so that you go right to the source. Out of my office, we sponsor monthly outreach events, webinars on how to do business with DLA, and I'm proud to announce that in the FY21, which will start in about less than 48 hours, we're revamping our outreach program to include business matchmaking as an additional virtual business matchmaking as an additional component to our monthly outreach. So businesses will have the opportunity to register and sign up for matchmaking appointment of slots with our major subordinate commands Office of Small Business Programs, where you can have a virtual one-on-one and talk to your corporate capabilities and products that you're offering as relates to that particular supply chain. This is a new initiative that I initiated out of my office to ensure that as we are growing our outreach program, we're trying to reach the broadest amount of small businesses possible with the understanding that we are in a new normal and that as we move forward through this year and for the foreseeable future, large mass gatherings of in-person events will probably be scaled down. But there's still a need for us to interact and share information about how small businesses can support our mission at DLA. And we're going to do this through a virtual means where companies have that targeted one-on-one engagement at the tactical level with our small business team. And so we look forward to engaging with you as we roll this out. I do hope you attend our next month's session. And our next month's session's information can be found on our website at www.dla.mil/small business. If you just go to our calendar of events on our website, you'll see the registration information. With that, I'll open it up to questions.
Great. Thank you, Dwight, for that very informative presentation. Let me pull up the questions. So we have an attendee here that represents an SDVOSB that manufactures bulk cleaning and disinfectant products to include hand sanitizers. Does DLA purchase that? And I'll expand that. Can you talk a little bit more about DLA's program and the PPE and FedMall?
Sure. So DLA, as I mentioned, through our major subordinate command, DLA Troop Support, is involved in the personal protective equipment and medical supplies. We do manage that. And yes, hand sanitizers is just one of many personal protective equipment or medical supply that we purchase in support of our nation's warfighter, but also in support of our whole of government partners for the COVID-19 response. And so what I encourage you to do is get in contact with the DLA Troop Support, Major Subordinate Command Office of Small Business Programs, send them your corporate information, and they should respond back accordingly. Correspondingly, you can send a note over to my office, and we could get it down to the right team member there as well.
Thank you. And before I go on to the next question, I would like to note slides will be made available. We will email them to all attendees that have registered for this event, as well as we will share them on our social media site. In the upcoming weeks, we will have them posted on our website. So for the next question, Dwayne. This is a non-traditional company without a contract vehicle that can provide platforms to DLA for sustainment, open architecture, and AI for speed to warfighter and at a lower cost. This company is based in Virginia. How can they provide that platform to DLA? Do you have any recommendations for them?
Sure. So there are two forms. One is that particular company can look at the DLA Research and Development Program, our innovation program, and we have various innovation programs up under that umbrella where that may be able to fit to include our Small Business Innovation Research Program. Additionally, I encourage that company to contact my office and schedule a meeting so I can learn a little bit more about this particular platform and be able to guide and direct them into the right direction of where this particular solution may fit for the DLA mission set.
Thank you. So you talked a little bit about outreach and matchmaking. Can you explain that a little bit more, because this company is very interested in how do they apply for matchmaking?
Sure. So matchmaking will be open to the public on a first come, first served basis. Registration information can be found on our website, dla.mil/small business. Expect that information to be found right around mid-October. We're going to have our first doing business with DLA session first so that companies understand who DLA is, so they know who to sign up for a matchmaking appointment for. And once that session happens, the subsequent week, which is right around the October 21st, will be the virtual matchmaking from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so, again, all of this information will be found on our calendar events page. In addition to that, if you send a note to my office at our headquarters inbox, my team will get back with you with the information to let you know when it's going to happen with the pertinent dates.
All right. Next question. A lot of programs, primes, and agencies have set aside funding to innovate through SBIR, OTAs, etc. Is there an opportunity direct from DLA that would or could pursue new technology that would have substantial savings across all government agencies?
So yes, as I mentioned, we have our DLA R&D organization. Within our DLA innovation program, we have several programs that support innovation for not only DLA, but warfighter sustainment. And within that, if you go to our website, you'll see an innovation link. And on that link will pop up a one-pager that gives you a high-level overview of what our innovation program is all about, what we're looking for in terms of topics of interest, and where you can find our broad agency announcements to potentially submit for a white paper and potential funding under our innovation program.
Thank you. The next question is in reference to advertising. Does DLA do advertising? For example, do you buy digital media to help improve sales efforts of discontinued equipment or other assets?
So I am not aware that we actually buy digital media services. You know, we are in the sustainment business, and we are part of the defense-wide working capital fund. And so we are very cost conscious of how we go about spending our money in support of the warfighter. And so to that point, I am not aware that we actually buy media services to market for obsolescent products that are no longer being produced by our major original equipment manufacturers.
Thanks. So when we do these webinars, it's both in-reach and outreach with Navy small business professionals. We do have a small business professional on the line, and they've met with many companies that provide gym equipment, both indoor and outdoor equipment, such as weightlifting, outdoor playground equipment, etc. Would DLA's MWR, morale, welfare, and recreation fall under troop support? And if so, would that be the correct contact information to provide these vendors?
To my knowledge, yes, it will fall under troop support.
So we have a company that is a WOSB that provides professional technical services. Can you advise them on how to find opportunities within DLA that would fit their support services?
Sure. So for that particular company, if you refer back to my presentation where I covered DLA's contracting service office, or what we consider DCSO. DCSO is our enterprise-wide service support buyer and contracting office. And so if you're a service support organization and you're looking to do business with DLA, DLA DCSO is the organization you want to reach out to, and refer back to that slide, and then the point of contact information is in that slide.
Thank you. So Seaport Next Gen is the Navy's contract vehicle to procure support services. DLA does not procure their services through Seaport Next Gen. Can you talk a little bit about how they can go about finding what contract vehicles would meet their needs?
Sure. So for DLA, in terms of support services, we're going to leverage the array of tools that are available to us in the federal market space. So for support services, we'll look at the GSA schedule. We'll also look at other government-wide acquisition contracts or best-in-class contracts for service support, such as 8A stars, and things along those lines. So for us, it's all about speed to need, which vehicles fit in terms of what our requirements are and how we can source it quickly to get it back so that we're maintaining mission readiness and support of the warfighter.
Thank you. So this next company is a new company with no contract history with DLA. They have a zero emission product line, and they're looking to see who should they contact within DLA to help market the support?
Okay, not knowing in terms of the mission and what the product is, I would say send a message over to our headquarters inbox, and somebody on my team will respond accordingly and work with you to figure out where that product may fit within the DLA supply chain.
Cybersecurity. So across DoD, we are very challenged with cybersecurity, and that's one of our top initiatives. Can you talk a little bit for this company about how to go about cybersecurity, find out more information about cybersecurity initiatives?
Sure. So for DLA cybersecurity initiatives, our initiatives are going to directly align with the department initiatives, and that includes things that the Department of Navy is doing as well. We are trying to march towards ensuring our entire global supply chain is secure end to end, and that we don't have penetration points where our adversaries can potentially thwart and get information. And so I would encourage that particular company not to just look at what DLA is doing, but also broader what the department is doing. And so on our main Department of Defense Small Business Office webpage, you'll find a lot of information regarding cybersecurity and where the department is going. And I'll refer that company to that information point because our information is going to directly align with that.
The next question talks about set-asides. Can you talk a little bit about maybe DLA's execution history with some of the socioeconomic categories, and if you know of off the top any set-asides that you might have upcoming in your long-range acquisition forecast?
Sure. So in terms of set-aside, so DLA historically has been one of the leading components under the Department of Defense in maximizing small business utilization. As I shared in my presentation, roughly over 40% of our spend, which is 40% of roughly 40 billion, is going towards small business. And when you break that down for the socioeconomic category level, the two categories we struggle with the most is women-owned small business and hub zone. And so if you're a woman-owned small business or a hub zone small business, and you're looking to do business with DLA and you have products that potentially fit our particular supply chain, I encourage you to knock on our door because we want to do business with you. We recognize wholeheartedly that these are categories that we're struggling in. And I'll tell you, Arvis, how we're going to target these socioeconomic businesses. My monthly outreaches that we're doing. So for the month of March, we're going to dedicate our monthly outreach that entire month, virtual wise, and reserve both our doing business with DLA webinar, but also the virtual matchmaking that month for strictly women-owned small businesses. That's how serious I am about ensuring that we are going and reaching the broadest, maximum extent practical socioeconomic businesses to which we have historically not done well in. In addition to that, we're doing the same thing for hub zones. And so again, folks, for companies that are in those socioeconomic categories, pay attention to our calendar of events, and when these things pop up, be the first to register because again, it's on a first come, first served basis. And we look forward to getting to engage with you and potentially seeing you being part of the DLA supply chain.
Wonderful. So this next question is about training in IT. What major subordinate command should they talk to for training IT support of enterprise-wide efforts?
Sure. So if the particular company will refer back to my presentation where I mentioned DLA Contract and Service Office, DCSO. DCSO would be the organization where that company will want to look for potential business opportunities. On that particular slide, again, there's a point of contact listed. Reach out to them and they should get in contact with you and help you understand where the business opportunities are for enterprise-wide IT and training solutions.
So the next question, this company focuses on engineering and manufacturing and machining services. They do design and manufacture parts and can also mass produce small to large products. Who should they talk to at DLA?
Well, it depends on what products they are manufacturing and producing. Again, not knowing what particular products they are, whether they fit the land supply chain, maritime supply chain, aviation, or I could go down the line. I would recommend that company contact my office directly and potentially attend our Doing the Business with DLA webinar next month to learn a little bit more so that they can understand it and target their marketing efforts accordingly.
So this next question is about FedMall and FedMall Marketplace. Can you explain the difference between the two? And do you need to have a BPA or GSA schedule to participate?
So I'll start with the latter. No, you do not need a GSA schedule to participate in FedMall. FedMall is essentially a e-commerce platform that provides a way for buyers and sellers to meet and sell their particular products from a commodity standpoint. And so depending upon what you're offering, it may be a good fit to look at FedMall. FedMall is managed under the DLA Contracting Support Office, or DCSO. And so if you're interested in FedMall, go back and refer to that slide and reach out to that point of contact, and they'll respond accordingly with information about how you go about potentially becoming a part of the FedMall program.
Thank you. So CMMC, the Cybersecurity Maturity Model Certification. It's really big across DoD. This company provides a gap analysis effort and subsequent remediation actions to prepare companies for CMC level 3 audits. Is there a way or information that you can provide them on maybe a list of vendors that support DLA so that they can reach out to them about CMMC needs?
So we don't have a list of vendors. I can tell you right now, if that particular company is interested in that, if for a list of vendors, active vendors for DLA or any other DoD component, that information can be found in the Federal Procurement Data System. It's a quick and easy pull report that company can run out of the system to find out who are the current suppliers for DLA and or the DoD component and begin to build that intel from that list accordingly from the Federal Procurement Data System.
So the next question talks about presenting a capability statement. So part of being a successful contractor is doing your research and understanding who's buying what it is that you're selling. So for the Department of Navy, we do have 10 major buying commands. And if you visit our website, on the website, there's a feature called Search What the Don Buys. In there is a data download of the Federal Procurement Data System, and it's filtered for just Navy procurements. And this will help you navigate the Navy marketplace on where you want to target your capability statements, white papers, any presentations or discussions you'd like to have with an organization. But what do you have at DLA to help a company figure out how to navigate that DLA marketplace?
Right. So part of what we're trying to do is help folks understand who DLA is, and which is why we are doing Doing the Business with DLA webinar. So with the first point, I would say I would encourage all companies to first attend our monthly webinars, which are free, to understand who we are, and then from that level, work with the major subordinate command Office of Small Business Programs to understand where your products may fit. And then if you need more hands-on, refer back to your local Procurement Technical Assistance Center. These folks are trained business counselors who have the acumen and skill set to help a company understand FPDS and try to drill it down to find where the opportunities are for the products that they offer. In addition to that, there are other organizations out there that can assist that particular vendor as well. Trade associations and things along those lines. All those are fee-based. The one that I will endorse and the only one that I will endorse is your local PTAC. And so if you can't find it through those three avenues, there are other avenues out there which are paid based. And so you explore, exhaust all your resources from a free base standpoint. If you still don't have that acumen together, then you maybe want to pursue something paid.
Great. So the next question, once a requirement posts on DIBS, how long will it take for it to transfer to Beta SAM? And can an award be made from DIBS without going to Beta SAM? Is that a question you know the answer to?
Yes, an award can be made without the information rolling over to SAM. We
Great.
do our best to do a two for one posting, but DLA bid board, DLA's Internet Bid Board is a public posting and meets all the federal acquisition requirements for public posting.
So the next question talks about the goals. And I know we did speak a little bit earlier about the hub zone. This company's interested in if DLA met their hub zone quotas, but maybe let's take it a step further if you want to talk to all of the socioeconomic categories and maybe any areas that DLA, I know you said women-owned small business and hub zone, any opportunities there for businesses to meet.
Sure. So historically, and especially for FY 2019, DLA exceeded its socioeconomic goals in all categories. For this particular year, as we're slated to close out fiscal year 2020, we are falling short in both hub zone, service-disabled, veteran-owned, and women-owned. And so we're doing some targeted engagements kicking off, as I stated, in FY 2021 to ensure that we're targeting these socioeconomic category businesses to help them understand who DLA is, how to do business with DLA, but furthermore, how to potentially win business at DLA.
Great. So the next question is about the long-range acquisition forecast. So I'll start off with the Department of Navy's Office of Small Business Programs website. It has a link to all of the 10 major buying commands long-range acquisition forecast. So you can view the Navy and Marine Corps' long-range acquisition forecast there. But for DLA, what's the plan for posting for fiscal year 21 and where can they find that information?
Absolutely. Good question, Arvis, and this is a good point to help folks understand the difference between DLA and the Navy. So the Navy has long-range acquisition planning forecasts, and for businesses out there, the Navy is really focused on what we call the big A, the major acquisition systems, right? And so there's definitely a lot of long-term planning, long lead time and material stuff that goes into major weapon system programs to where we can have adequate planning involved and be able to put that out there to industry so industry can understand where we're going and how they can potentially target the opportunities. That's quite not somewhat the opposite in terms of how DLA operates. So the way we operate, we are a support agency in support of our nation's warfighter. And so we have to look at what is the demand signal and the demand needs for our nation's warfighter in terms of sustainment parts for our nation's warfighter assets or sustainment wares or material for our nation's warfighter. And so that's somewhat difficult to plan for because you just never know what may happen, like the pandemic that we're going through right now. You can't plan for that. And so it's hard to put more of a demand planning forecast together for it. However, I will tell you that the DLA Senior Procurement Executive, Mr. Matt Beebe, is all about industry engagement. And he is trying his best to work and put together a demand planning forecast for DLA for our industry partners. And we're looking to do that by the end of the first quarter. And so we are trying to get that out there. We've heard our industry partners loud and clear that they would like somewhat of a demand planning forecast from DLA. And I'll tell you, we're working on that and we're trying to get that done here for you in the first quarter of FY 2021. And so myself, along with the Senior Procurement Executive for DLA. Mr. Matt Beebe are working on that. And when we do have that together, folks, we will post it on our DIBS website.
Great. So the next question is about CMMC, the hot topic. Do you know when they'll start including those requirements in DLA RFPs?
Sure. So I think, folks, for anyone that's tracking, I think the DFARS update for CMMC's requirements went into the Federal Register either yesterday or this morning. And so as the department moves towards that and that becomes more of a final rule, once that rule becomes final, DLA, along with the Department of Navy, will be marching towards incorporation of that DFARS requirement into all active solicitation and subsequent contract awards.
Great. So this is about DLA Internet Bid Board. This company is asking, would you recommend firms register on the DLA Internet Bid Board? And what is the value proposition for doing so?
So I'll say value proposition is this. Roughly over 70% of our contract actions are automated for DLA. What does that mean? That means the normal way of how I buy my goods and services in support of our nation's warfighter and whole of government partners has little to no human touch or little to no contracting officer involvement from a day-to-day standpoint. And so our DIBS system, which is our Internet Bid Board system, which is an automated system, it provides that capability for DLA. There's no way that DLA will be able to position itself to not only support our nation's warfighter at any given moment from an acquisition or procurement needs standpoint, but also to support our nation during a pandemic without the agility and ability for internet buying automated buying. And so we are very much into automation in the way we do our business. And so the ROI for any company that's looking to do business with DLA is to understand that we are very much into automation in the way we buy, and our DIBS system allows that capability. And so if you're trying to find the opportunities and you're trying to win the opportunities, DIBS, and you're looking to do business with DLA, DIBS is definitely something you need to register for and sign up for.
Great. Well, that's all the questions that we have posted. I want to thank you for your time today, Mr. Deneal, and we look forward to collaborating more in the future.
Absolutely.
We have, so we do have some upcoming, this will conclude our series for September. We'll have some upcoming webinars in the following weeks, so please follow us on our social media platforms, visit our website, we'll post them there. And I want to thank you all for your time in attending with us today, and look forward to seeing you in the virtual world soon. Stay safe and stay healthy. Have a good one.
Barbies, thank you.
Bye. Thank you.